Hello, welcome back to the lovely back room and phone camera. Today, we're talking about the Kantamus 60L. I'm actually filming this intro after, so the video is going to look a little bit different, the lighting and the sounds and stuff, so don't worry if you hear the family going. But originally, I was just filming unpacking the backpack after the weekend trip, and it just turned into the perfect time, setting, and place. I even got the camera pushed back, I had to move some stuff in here. But it just turned into the perfect setting to knock out the rest of the backpack video. I'm super excited, but there's a couple things I forgot to mention in there. So when they are saying 60L here, they're only talking about the main body of the bag here. The floating lid is an additional 12 liters. So altogether, base model straight out the door is 72 liters. All plastics and all plastic hardware on this thing, except for the ends of the hip belt, are fully customizable, removable, do whatever you want to with themable. And yeah, small disclaimer, there's a couple times through the video where I'm like looking over, making sure the baby doesn't wake up. I do all of this during nap time, and the nap spot is right there in this room. So yeah, have fun with it. Bye-bye. So I need to get some stuff out of here, and I need to dry some stuff out. So let's get them unpacked. First thing that you are going to notice is that with the supplied, this came with the bag, the supplied elastic cord that's on top of the floating lid, right here. Don't ask me what it's called. Don't ask me what it's from. It's a discontinued jacket that I got for pretty cheap. That's all I know. So under that is my plate that I... Trying not to wake up that baby. That was the worst sound ever. So, had that plate that I forgot to pack, and I just needed to stick it somewhere. So, I just tossed it under my jacket. After I cleaned it, of course. So, under this jacket is the floating lid. This thing is awesome. It's filled with that Lavalin wool, and it's just amazing. So, under the floating lid, I have the Savotta sleeping mat here, and I secured it with some extra elastic that I put on myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop him off. Savotta sleeping mat. Highly recommended. Just even as it was soaking wet out there, and the sleeping mat provided a very good base just to even lay down my stuff. So this is elastic that I added myself, just two simple loops that I can tuck under each other and make a nice little work of art there. So I am going to pop this guy off, and we will get to him in just a minute. On the side of the bag here, I have the new sitting pad. You're gonna notice I have a lot of doubles. I needed some, it's way overpacked, but I needed a lot of demonstration stuff on that trip. So here is the new sitting pad from Savotta. Another thing that saved my life in that very, very wet environment that I was in. And a nice little cup here. Teamed up with Kupilka. Savotta teamed up with Kupilka. I get a nice little logo for the anniversary. Of course I had to get it. Anything else in here? Little bits of trash. Fire dragon wrapper. Don't tell anyone, I had to cheat. It was wet. Everything was wet. So that's it for that pocket, and I just have an extra little carabiner on the side there. That baby is dead asleep. Let's try to do the Kantamus video. Okay, so on this side, in this pocket here, I actually hooked the new e-tool pouch on the bottom rung of the PALS webbing there. So the e-tool pouch will tuck into this pocket so it's not dangly. but it's also not taking up too much room up here. The real Fiskars e-tool. Mine, like, look at this. No jingle jangle. Everything we wanted in the US military that they did not give us. Get the real Fiskars one. Still, no jingle jangle. So, the e-tool pouch, empty. Just folds flat right in there. Nice and easy. Extra carabiner there. You can never have too many. They'll save your life sometimes. So, spinning the, actually, hip belt. Let's get to the hip belt. What did I have attached to the hip belt? Here is a zipped GP pouch 3x4 with a Pathfinder set in here. The Pathfinder bottle, which very highly impressed me on this trip. It's not gimmicky. I think this is my favorite thing at the moment. You know, my favorite water and system here. I put the lid on, knocked it over, the water stayed in the tin. It's awesome. So that was in a zipped 3x4 GP pouch on the hip belt here. On the opposite side of the hip belt, for my action hand, I have a double AK pouch from Savotta here. All the pouches and stuff are from Savotta, so I'm just going to stop saying that. So this is a double AK pouch that is perfect size for a large can of bear spray. I was out there in bear country. And just big animal country. I was dealing with a lot of animal activity the whole time. So, yeah, that's off of there. Spinning around to see if we missed anything. Before I take anything out of the bag, I'm going to take the hip belt off. Let's do the Kantamus video. Famous last words. So, just to make it easier on myself, skip ahead if you need to know how to put this stuff back on, but I'm going to be taking it off kind of how it's going to be easier for me to do here. So, first I am going to disconnect the actual come across belt here. So, I am going to 35 kilo when I left. It's lighter now, but I had to bring all my water with me going out there, so it was decently hefty. Pro tip: when you're dealing with Savotta pouches, and they have this tuck-in tab at the bottom of the Molly Pals system, bend it like that. Give it a little bend. It will slip into itself so much easier. It'll actually just glide itself in. There's a lot of very, very decent thinking that goes with these pouches, especially the fact that you can line them up with 25 or 50 mil buckle or attachments here. They might look like there's a little bit extra there, but you need it. When you don't have it, you notice. Taking off this guy, I didn't loop him in between the belt there. As you see, you can do, here's the belt. It's split in 2 layers for very secure hold. I don't know if you can see that, but this is a 2-layer webbing belt there, so you can slip in between it or fully come behind it. This was a little bit more important just to keep very steady, so it was looped into the belt. But the 3x4 here, I had just a little bit more mobile. a little bit more slidey, because one, it's wider, so it could help hold itself in place a lot easier. But also, that was just easier to do, as you can see. So let's go ahead and take this belt all the way off. How I like to do this is go ahead and free this up, slide that pad down right there. So you see how I crimped the pad? It just, yeah, slide that down, give yourself some working room here. It's gonna make your life a million times easier, I guarantee it. So these lock everything onto the end. Like I said, I'm gonna put everything back on and it's gonna be very detailed at that point. Right now we're just stripping this guy down. Oh no, you got caught. Yeah, there we go. This guy, the lumbar pad, can now freely come off once you release the, freely I say. Yeah, there we go. So now that guy just wants to come off. Right there. And in this way, you are left with being able to tuck these in right here and having a hip belt-less belt or backpack here. So if you did not need the hip belt, nothing intrusive here. Just toss all of that stuff into the bag, put it on when you need it. Taking off the shoulder straps, I'm gonna start just by sliding out the bottom. I did shorten these bottom straps a little bit to myself, but I fear I might have done it a little bit too short because they were just bugging me and I hate danglies, and I was like, cut it. Probably a mistake, but I have a few more of these. So right here, I'm dealing with the top of the backpack straps now. Once again, when we put everything back on, much more detailed. Coming to here, I'm gonna pull out these load lifters there, showing you this webbing system here that I discovered. I thought my size was not using any of the webbing and attaching straight to the metal D-ring from here until I got about 50 meters up in elevation, and I said, I'm dropping this backpack and moving up one step. And once your fingers figure out how to do it, it's a 30-second process, and easy to do, like on the fly. If you figure out your sizing is not very correct on what you thought it would be. So I'm just gonna set these off to the side. We'll put them back on, much more detailed. Behind here, on this back, you have a back pad, and you have an additional pocket up here for the aluminum frame. Still asleep. So, right here is this amazing piece of material here. Very high quality foam, pretty dense. Not, I don't know the word, but very nice. It's not gonna fail on you. Super good, and you can use it as a knee pad. You can use it as a sitting pad, whatever, or just keep it in your backpack. Or you can replace it with the new sitting pad that they have here. Also fits in there quite nicely. This is just a little skirt to save you from wetness on the edges of your pad. When you need it, it saves your life, I guarantee it. There was a lot of bad language on that trip. So getting up into the top pocket is where you will find, the aluminum frame. So the aluminum frame was in this pocket, back pad in this pocket. So you don't have to fiddle with one and mess up both if you're just trying to do something with one of them. What do I have in here? So, mind you, this is packed for the way down from the mountain because this is my unpacking. It was packed in a different orientation going up because I had a 4-liter Ortlia water bag in the hydration bag pocket going up. So if you have any remarks about my weight distribution and water and stuff, this is my way down, not my way up. This is my coming home bag. So, still smells like fire. On the top right here is my wet tarp that I'm gonna have to go, why are you calling me? The joys of filming on your phone. So, I think as I was saying, this is a wet tarp that I took down, didn't want to fold up and get it all weird. So I just jammed it into a mesh pack sack here. I always carry an extra pack sack, mesh pack sack, just for such an occasion. This is what I needed. My phone charger and batteries and cord and stuff. That's why this had to happen now. Phone is also dying. Filling in all of the loose, empty space in here and keeping everything in place, I have a Corinthia tropen, however you say it, that I keep in a very large mesh pack sack because if you need to fill up the space, the bag can, facilitate that. But also, if you need more space, just roll that down as tight as it goes. Yeah, it's getting smaller. But if I want to use this as a storage bag, it is also a storage bag. So if I just want to grab and go, I just grab the storage bag, roll it down, shove it in. A lot of my kit revolves around these mesh pack sacks. Like so. This is all my extra wool. I was in full level 2 merino wool from Varustaleka, and this is an extra set, an extra full set, plus a large scarf and hat and stuff right here. All merino wool. I'm telling you, you're missing out. If you have not switched to wool, you are completely missing out. Here is a loft jacket that I just keep in a zipped trinket pouch. Corinthia G40 liner that I put inside the Corinthia tropen. It's very warm. It does add a lot of the thermal goodness that you need in getting to be winter. But I did notice that I was sliding around in there, sliding bag and bag. I'm gonna have to change this system. On the side of the bag that was just kind of tucked in on to the side of everything, we have my Skrama 240. I put a little clip there, a heli clip. Shout out to Joe Price, I bought that because of you. So, put a heli clip on there because now, yay, I don't need that belt loop. You just clip it to anything there. Like I said, I didn't need all of this, but I needed this to show some stuff. We'll get to that again. So, this is my Holtefors Holtan. Still smells like fire. Yeah, I'm actually really glad I brought this though. I really missed it. I didn't think I would miss it that much. But my arm, once this came out, my arm was happy. They have a lot of history. Yeah. On the bottom here, I have another sleeping mat because I like to be comfortable. And I just needed to fill up the bag a little bit more too, just for size and showing purposes. But this is the Sea to Summit something or other. Right here is my food bag. Shout out to Adventure Menu. Right here is my extra clothing. So, forgot to say this. This was in the hydration pocket because now coming down the mountain, this was the heaviest stuff that I was bringing down from the mountain. This is a good couple kilo of food just in case of emergency, or if I ran into somebody, I could give them some food too. So this is still pretty hefty. And so I slipped this in the hydration pocket just to keep the weight up against my back. On top of that, or with that, I had my extra clothing. Anything else in there? Oh. And it was keeping my happy stove nice and flat. Hello. Is there anybody else in here? This thing is deep. Yes, there is. You are my Savotta towel. They are good to me, so I try to be good back. Let's flip them inside out, and then we will rebuild them. On the inside of the bag, the only exciting part is going to be this hydration pocket here. Substantially large hydration pocket here. It is bellowed, so it does expand out, you know, not just with this elastic at the top, but you see, I don't know if you can see that, but there is bellows here, so it will be able to expand. Keep your heavy stuff there. If you're not carrying a water bag, water's probably going to be your heaviest, but if you're not doing that, keep your heavy stuff in there. Inside the hydration pocket, you have two simple webbing loops on the sides here, but right in the middle, you have this interesting butterfly guy. You can slip it through 25 mil stuff. Any buckles, any plastics, you can slip this. It'll lock into any of those. Yeah, it's not a mystery. It's just very expandable. If you need it, you need it. If you want it, you can do stuff. You can see the zipper going to the outside of the bag here. But that's about it for the inside of the bag. Before I forget, I will show you the hydration port. So, hydration port is right here, corner of the bag, or corner of that hydration pocket. I have my fingers in the hydration ports that go to the outside. Still a lot of roll top there too. Nice PU coating that is only defeated by all of the stitching that goes into making a backpack. That's your weak point in water resistance, or in waterproofness rather. They don't want to say waterproof, but these will float. What is going to get you and what is unavoidable is all of the points of sewing, points of stitching. You have to stab holes in it to stitch, by definition. So that's going to be your weak point in water resistance. So this thing will get you through a light rain, any mistiness all by itself. But once it starts getting a little bit heavy in the rain, or I don't know, if you feel like you need it, definitely put a rain cover on here. So I am going to start here on the sides because I'm going to forget about the hydration port. That's why we're doing this. So the hydration port pops out. There is the front of the bag. Here's the back. So it's going to pop out kind of just over your shoulders here. So you have hydration port, hydration port. Staying on the side, you have 6 pals webbing coming across. 7 going down, ending in this pocket here that is on both sides, where you can do stuff like this. Shoot-de-doop, flip that around. Don't want that blade up against the back. Oh, he's getting put away anyway. So you can put stuff in that side pocket, hold it in very nicely with the side strap. But if you're gonna do something like this, you don't have to, but what I like to do, give that one wrap around. Just makes things a little bit more secure. That is the exact same on the other side. Let's save some time. On the front, you are gonna see these straps that come all the way down. I'm gonna go ahead and toss Tropen back in here, just so we can get some puffiness to them. There we go. So, right here, you have these straps that will come up the front and they will lock into the top of the lid. They start all the way at the bottom of the bag. So this, tracing the bottom of the bag, all the way up, and then all the way back down. So fairly substantial straps here. If you're doing a floating lid system, you can get that lid all the way up there. The zippers. Right here is going to be your access to the inside of the bag. So you can still reach your sleep gear, or if you have any important tools that are stashed on the side, like how I had my axe and my skrama, go ahead and just reach in the side there. You don't have to start pulling stuff out. But you can pull out your sleep kit that's hiding down there at the bottom. Get out of here, plate. You're gonna play music. On this side zipper, you have a very large pocket that obviously extends the length of the zipper, but comes all the way across to there, all the way up to here. That is a very substantial front flat pocket. You can stick a secondary backpack in there if you need. What I do, I just have an extra emergency knife. Bright orange, you can find it in the dark. Now, what you guys are waiting for, the technical stuff. Excuse me while I puff him back up a bit. First thing that we are going to do is put this guy in. So, these are made by hand in Karstula. So, yeah, these have 2 dots right there where the 2 pieces of aluminum come together, just manufacturer marks. What you are looking to do, so if I have the bottom of my bag here, top of the bag here, facing up, obviously, stuff is falling out. Boom, like this. Here's the manufacturer marks. Here's those 2 dots at the bottom, facing up when you are in this orientation. You can see that right there. So, as these are made by hand and when they are put in, this is how they would do it exactly in the factory, warehouse. I don't know what the correct word, but I made sure. I was like, give me the instruction on how they are told to put it in. So that's the information that I got. And just for fun, instead of putting in the standard back pad, I am going to put in the new sitting pad here. Nice and clean. Still asleep. Very nice. So, now that your back supports are all put together, let's do these shoulder straps. So, here is the top of the backpack strap here. It has 2 lines coming off. Forget about that guy. You want the one that's all the way at the end here connected. He's got a metal tri-glide. Let's see if you can still see if yes, there we go. So, this one's a little bit complicated when the first time you do it, but once you get it, your hands can figure it out. So, like I said, I am at the bottom here. What I do then for using that one, just come, feel like this, come down through that webbing, like so. I'm gonna flip him over. So I'm just through the webbing. Ring is still separate. Come over the ring, and you wanna go in there. So over the ring, and you'll see if I push him back up through the webbing, right there. So you have right here, it is looped to that ring. I'm just gonna pull him up into that webbing so he's not gonna be jabbing you in the back at all. And just lock him in to your size. It's gonna take a little bit of playing your first time to get your size, to get your fingers figuring out the system. But like I said, once they do, it's easy. I'll even go fast on the other one. So after you come lock into the tri-glide here, come back, bring it back up into the top of the loop just to lock it in. And what I like to do is just go ahead and slide it back through the webbing so I can tuck it into the back pad area. There. Nice and clean. You never even know it's there. Other shoulder strap. I'm just gonna do it how I normally do now. See, almost too easy. When you're not sitting there explaining it, it's very, very fast to do. Just get it tucked in. Nice and clean. Shoop-de-doop. There you go. Now your shoulder straps are on. Bring this guy up to the load lifter there. Right there. And leave him loose until I'm gonna bring him tight just because we're not going out right now. But leave that loose until you get the backpack on. And then tighten that on as you go. All right, so that is the top of the straps there. When we are putting the bottom of the straps back on, if I can find them, I'll do one. I'm not gonna spend the whole time hunting that down. So, get out of here. So the bottom of the straps, remind you, or just a reminder, I cut this short. I should probably get, it's a good thing I lost that one. I need to put longer ones back on. I cut it too short. So, the bottom has a loop right here and then a free tag end. You want the tag end going down, the loop on the backpack. Not necessarily a rule on the backpack, but demonstration purposes, your first time, this is probably the best way to do it. So, loop on backpack, find the metal D-ring down here, go out the bottom of it, cross these over, just boop, cross them, and slip that in there. There you go. Nice and secure. Shoop-de-doop. Shoop-de-doop. And then you have shoulder straps. I'm going to pretend like I did the other one too. But I'm going to take this off real fast to show you the hip belt, because leaving it clean down there is probably the best thing I can do for that. Hip belt. So, right here is your lumbar pad. This has an up and down. Right here is a bit smaller. Right here is a bit bigger. That one's on the bottom. Boom. Take this guy, go into that bottom one, just like so. Some of the webbing is trying to hold it. There we go. And shoop-de-doop. Now your lumbar pad is on. These side pads are a lot more forgiving. There is no left and right. So there's no upside down either. No left or right, no upside down, doesn't matter. The only thing that matters, don't put it on backwards like I have done. So this will just slide into here, like so, right there, and then down through that one. There's a lot of moisture in this bag, if you can't tell. If it was purely dry, it would work a little bit easier. I'm gonna have to dry it all out. Take this guy, and you see how it kind of curves this way. It's curving with your body. So if you're doing this, leave that curve down. I'm gonna push that down to leave me that tag. Slip into the back one, all the way at the back. So the rounded bit is still facing the middle of the bag. Pop that on the back, slide that pad back up. There you go. You're almost complete. This side. Like I said, much faster, easier when you're not explaining stuff. So, pads are on. At this point, I keep forgetting to show people, you don't have to take the pad off. But this, the kukaro or the sur kukaro, will slide right over that hip belt if you want to keep one of these on your belt. You don't have to take the pad off of there. This is the sur kukaro. It also works with the smaller one, the kukaro, because sur just means big. All right. Where are pieces of the belt? So, get out of here, shoulder straps. You're not the star of the show anymore. So, taking this, Berg buckle. I promise you they tested everything. Berg buckle is the absolute best. It's the simplest, it's the cheapest to replace if you happen to break it or slam it in a, military vehicle door. They are very heavy. And I think we have all caught something in them at some point. If that happens to be your hip belt, you can replace it for like €50 depending on some websites. So yeah, and this is the only plastic hardware that's sewn to the system here. Everything else is completely customizable, comes off, replaceable, and just awesome. So when you're putting it on, I'll take that back out. It is going through, because this is a 3-ladder lock buckle here. You're going to come out the middle one and then back into the top. So this is a backpack that tightens this way. You pull forward. Other belt. If I knew I was making the full Kantamus video, it'd be a little bit cleaner in here. So, out the middle, through the top. And I did it backwards. So, that's kind of the only thing that you're going to have to deal with is your own not proper planning or checking to make sure you didn't put it backwards. But easy fix. Easiest buckle in the world. I'm going to put hefty tension on there and still pop it. I think we're onto the floating lid now. So, floating lid. What do I have in here? My extra gloves, my soaked through gloves. Yep, those need to go dry. I was going to use the new IFAC from Savotta, but I was out there by myself and bright red just seemed a little bit better of a choice. This was also on the outside of my bag when I was actually doing some stuff. Right here, an extra trinket pouch just in case for anything that might need one. But in there I brought some Atwood micro cord just for giggles. I was going to make a bow and arrow out there. I was going to do a whole video of making bow and arrow with the Scrama, but everything was just way too wet. A wedge. Once again, thank you, Joe Price. This thing is awesome. It's a wedge. Put it in wood. It's plastic. You can smack it with the back of your axe. Like, thank you, Joe. Great idea. Reflective vest, in case I had to walk away from camp in the dark. Throw this up, shine my light in the woods, wait for this to shine back at me. Or for emergency signaling, or in case I got hurt, I could mark myself. Here is just a simple steel lunchbox that if I needed to, I could have cooked in, but it's just full of peanut butter. Little peanut butter packets from Trinutka. Am I saying that correctly? Trinutka. He still has not told me how to pronounce it. I think that's going to be a running joke. And I just held it together with some extra elastic cord. Useful to have. I could pull that cord off and use it for anything, or I could keep my peanut butter from going everywhere. The packets from going everywhere. Shelter kit. This is just pegs and lines and different things that I might need to, or that I do need to set up a shelter. Adventure menu zipper cooking bag. This is a little chair here from Yubo, bushcraftshop.cz. Look at that color. These are made in-house. They're Czechs, and they are awesome. Adventure menus, check. Like, if you can't find it from Finland, check the Czechs. They know what they're doing. They got great stuff. And look at that color. If it's not made by Varostoleka or Savotta and you like the material and color, bushcraftshop.cz, Yubo, their in-house brand. And it's local to me, so of course I'm going to give them love. A saw in another Yubo pouch here. This one's waxed. Some cracking heating pads are in here, just in case. My DD Hammocks tarp bag. Right here. I have trinket pouch with pack straps in there. I could put anything on the outside of my bag if I really wanted to, or I can even turn these into backpack straps and turn this into a backpack. Flipping them inside out. Nothing. But you're going to be able to check and see that the construction is very nice. Webbing corners, or webbing sealed, or I don't know what you want to say. But very high standard of quality here. Your stuff is not going to fail you. The price you pay is the last price you're going to pay for it. What is that, buy once, cry once kind of deal? How I said it was pretty ominous. Then you have this front pocket here. So all of that stuff was inside here. But you are left with this additional pocket here. And you see it flares out at the bottom. It's like a couple centimeter wider at the bottom than it is at the top. In here, I just have some extra buckles just in case. Slam them in a door, or if I figured out some custom thing that I just wanted to do real fast, I'm able to do that. And I need to keep these out because those came standard with this. I'm going to show you guys how to do these buckles real fast. So I replaced at the top of here, it came with these here. Instead, I put split bar buckles here just to facilitate that easier. You saw how quick I got the top off and how clean it came off. When you're working with these buckles, pinch that together. There you go. Putting it on. Same way. Bring the webbing together. Don't try to go left and right. Just bring the webbing together. And like I said, this elastic here came standard with the bag. Baby woke up. Hopefully he falls back asleep, but I'm just gonna keep going. So, let's go ahead and actually stick that back on just to show you the floatingness of it. I know I didn't roll that correctly, but he's awake now. So let's get this done. Front buckles on, tuck you in. He rolled over. Let's go. Let's see what happens. Here is the strap coming up that would normally feed through this guy, but I replaced him with, I put this on here, the male 25 mil buckle, to match up with the female buckles that I put on the lid. And then I can just make it into a backpack really fast. Bringing additional strappings with me, or I can just take those pack straps and just slip them through gaps. Very easy. So when they say floating lid, let me release some strap here. When you're pulling these out, it's locked in. Shoot-a-doop. It's going to be annoying for a lot of people to have to tuck that under. No, don't do that. Fold him under himself. Pull. So just fold him under himself. Now, of course you get stuck on that one. Right when I'm like, yeah, that's how you do it. All right, and then whoop, just pull. Loosen this up. Loosen this up. There you go. Put this in there. At one point on the 40-liter Kantamus, I didn't have this guy, and I was on a family trip. I ended up having to put my son's entire backpack system under this and cinch down. It was fun. It was totally fun, I guarantee it. But in a pinch, it was a thing that could be done. So anything can be put under there and just locked in under that floating lid. And now the question in your mind is how small this thing gets. If that's your question, get the 40-liter. There's too much mass here to justify trying to make this thing your, like, hey, do what you do. If you want to, cinch this thing down and get it all nice and small, you totally can. If you really, really, really wanted to. But really, man, if you need the 60, get the 60. If you need the 40, get the 40. I am very lucky that they supplied me these backpacks. I'm eternally grateful. You guys have actually saved a lot of family trips with providing me that. And I've been able to fill out, with the money that they saved me, I've been able to fill out entire collections of pack sacks and all this stuff. I'm pretty sure I've paid my debts in profit margin at this point. But I've been able to fill out an entire system here that I would not have been able to afford if they didn't provide the base for me. I am eternally grateful to that. And I love you guys. I really do. You're pretty fantastic. So I believe that is the 60-liter. I did not do side pockets because I'll make another video right after this. I'm going to wake that kid up, go feed him lunch, and we'll do side pockets. All right. See you later. Bye-bye.